Hi, tonight's lesson is lesson 7-10, subtract mixed numbers. I can subtract mixed numbers using equivalent fractions and a common denominator. Push pause in the video now to write the lesson number, title, and I can statement on a new piece of paper in your math notebook. Push play when you are ready to continue. Today's solve and share problem reads, Evan is walking 2 1/8 mile to his aunt's house. He has already walked 3/4 mile. How much farther does he have to go? Solve this problem any way you choose. First, we need to do cubes. The first thing we do in cubes is circle the numbers. I have 2/8 miles, and then I have 3/4 mile. Next, I need to underline the question. How much farther does he have to go? Next, I need to box the keywords. He already walked 3/4 mile, and then how much farther does he have to go? Next, I need to visualize and evaluate. The picture here is a great visual of what happened. Evan needs to walk a total of 2 1/8 mile to get to his aunt's house, but he's already walked 3/4 of that, so I need to find the difference between 3/4 and 2 1/8 miles to know how much left he has to walk. Now I can solve because I know when I need to find the difference that I need to subtract. To do that, I'm going to use the standard algorithm of subtraction. I have 2 1/8 minus 3/4. Make sure you're lining up your fractions and your whole numbers. What I first notice is that my fractions do not have the same common multiple in the denominator, so I need to find that. So I start to think, what numbers do I know that 4 and 8 can multiply into? Well, I know my facts and know that each of those numbers can be multiplied into 8. To find the equivalent fraction of 3/4 into 8, I need to multiply my denominator by 2 to get 8. 4 times 2 equals 8. Because I multiplied my denominator by 2 to get 8, I need to multiply my numerator by 2 to get 8, or to get 6. 3 times 2 is 6. Now I need to do the same to my top number. 8 times what equals 8? I know 8 times 1 equals 8. Because I multiplied this number, the denominator, by 1, I need to multiply the numerator by 1. 1 times 1 is 1. But now I run into a problem. I cannot take 1 minus 6. So I need to borrow from my whole number so I can make a bigger numerator to be able to subtract 6/8. So I'm going to borrow 1 whole from my whole number, leaving me with 1 whole. I need to remember that 1 whole is equal to 8/8. That is the fraction I'm working with. That is the denominator in the set of fraction that I need to be equal to. So in order to do that, I need to add 8/8 to my top number. 1 plus 8 equals 9. And remember, when I add fractions, I leave them the same. The denominator is the same. So now I have 9/8. So now I can subtract my fractions. 9 minus 6 is 3. And again, since I'm adding and subtracting fractions, I leave my denominators the same. I do not add or subtract them. I leave them the same. Now I have my remaining fraction. However, remember, we still have our 1 whole over here. So my answer would be that Evan still has 1 3/8 mile to walk. Next, let's look to see what Casey did to represent his problem. He used a number line. He marked it from the beginning of 0 and then his 2 1/8 mile, as you can see here. He shaded in that Evan walked 3/4 mile, and then he hopped his way over till he got to 2 1/8. He had 3/8 tiny jumps to start, and then 1 whole, making it 1 3/8 mile. That is how Casey solved the problem. Next, let's look at Maria. She solved her problem similar to the way I did. In this, I've already gone through and marked how in her work, she did not show how she had to borrow from 1 whole to make a whole fraction to have a larger numerator to subtract. So I went ahead and showed you. Remember, when you borrow from the whole number to make it 1 less and you have that whole, do not add 1 to the denominator. You have to make that 1 whole equal to the fraction you're working with. Now I want you to stop and think to summarize your thinking below your work. Think about which strategy you used and how you solved the problem. Was it different than the ones you've seen? Did you have an easier way? Or did you think this problem was hard and you got stuck somewhere? Either way, write your thinking and be able to share and discuss tomorrow in class. Have a good night.